Hi, in today's video we are taking a look at the Motorola Razr 2019 in 2022. Let's start with the price. You can find them for around 250 euros used, and that is a pretty insane price because when the phone came out it was about 1500 euros. It has a 6.2 inch 1080p display on the front, a 16 megapixel camera that can record in 4K, a 5 megapixel front camera, 6 GB of RAM, a Snapdragon 710 and a 2510 mAh battery. So the specs don't sound that good, especially the Snapdragon 710. However, I have noticed that when I was using it, the performance of the phone was actually pretty good. I haven't noticed any lags or issues. What I did notice is when I have an app open on this small display and I open it on the large one, it tries to switch to the same app on the large display, and then sometimes it glitches because it has to switch from a different screen size. However, I haven't noticed any bugs or issues and it actually feels really smooth and no lag whatsoever. I don't game on my phone, so I don't know if it's good for that, but for doing the average things on your phone, it is really good. The battery life on this phone is decent, nothing amazing but also not terrible. You can get probably throughout the day with a bit of use. With heavy use you might need to charge it. It isn't extremely good, and it also depends on if the phone has been used a lot or not. The screen is really nice and it can also go extremely bright, which is something that I really like because in sunlight I can still actually see the screen. One thing that I don't like is the noise. If you listen to that doesn't sound great. But the crease in the middle is almost invisible if you have the screen turned on and you are looking at it. And when you have something like the Z Flip 4, you can see a little bit of the crease, but with this one it is a lot less noticeable. However, I am a bit concerned about the durability because the screen is made out of plastic and I think you can easily scratch it probably. I'm not going to try it because I don't want to damage it. Luckily, if you fold the display up, it is closed, so it's probably a lot harder for it to get scratched. But I don't think it is as durable as most of the other phones, because it's foldable. And I also don't see the advantage of a foldable like this. It's only a little bit more portable, but that's all. So I don't see why this would be useful, but it still looks cool. It also has a notch on the top and a bezel, but the status icons and the things are under the notch. So I don't really see the point of why they have a notch here. The phone has a USB-C port, however it doesn't have a headphone jack, and I know a lot of phones don't have it these days, but I still find it a little bit disappointing. It also has buttons on the side, but they are really annoying. They are very small and hard to find. The fingerprint sensor works accurately and is reliable. I just press my finger on the fingerprint sensor and it unlocks. And it's also on the bottom. Normally I prefer the fingerprint sensor on the back, but with this one it is a foldable, so it's kind of hard to put it on the back of the phone, of course, because there is a display here. It almost looks like a home button, but it doesn't go to the home. It's just the fingerprint sensor. The speaker on this phone is not that good. It is usable, but nothing amazing. And the same can be said for the cameras. The cameras are pretty terrible. The back camera is 16 megapixel and it can shoot with 4K, but it just doesn't look great. I think that it's usable and it's not terrible for just a quick social media post or scanning a QR code or video calling. It is usable, and I have noticed that the video quality is also pretty poor, especially when shooting in 60 FPS, and there's a lot of contrast and almost no dynamic range. However, it does have a lot of camera features and I like the camera app. It took me a while to find the manual mode, but there is actually a manual mode on the phone and you can adjust the ISO, white balance, shutter speed, focus. I think manual control on phones is good. I also like that you can add a grid and a leveler, so the camera experience is great. It's just that the camera itself isn't that good. Of course it isn't completely garbage and it will still take some decent photos for most people, but I think if you want a phone with a good camera then you should avoid this one. So now about the software of this phone. I've noticed that it's really stable and I also like the features. The speed of the phone is also good. The update support on the other hand isn't great with Motorola's. However, this one actually did get an upgrade from Android 9 all the way to 11, and it's actually on the January 2022 update. It isn't the best. Android 11 is good enough, but I am not sure if we are going to see any software updates or security updates. So should you buy one in 2022? I think if you want a foldable like this, then it's probably a cool option. It doesn't have the best specs, however it does have a good display and it works pretty fast. The fingerprint sensor is also nice, however the camera isn't that good. Thank you for watching.